Hello, you are listening to Mind Your Business, the podcast that lets you get to know the stories behind some of your favourite Scottish businesses. Hope you enjoy the episode. So hello and welcome to another episode of Mind Your Business. Now this week I'm joined by Cara, who is the woman behind the Queendom of Fife.
Good morning,
So,
good
Cara.
afternoon, good evening.
I feel like you've been mentioned on the podcast so many times.
That is a real honour actually. And every time I am mentioned, it makes my heart smile because that's kind of why I started the whole thing off. So it's really lovely to be mentioned, and it is a real honour that people think that, you know, remember me when they're talking to you as well. So it's nice.
Yeah, no, so it's good to finally get the story behind the Queendom.
Yeah, I know. It's nice for me to look back as well because it's really only been a year, and it feels like in a lot of ways it feels longer than that. Mm-hmm. Some days are longer than others, but for overall it's been a crazy, amazing journey, and I can't kind of wait to kind of go back and talk to you about it because it's you forget you forget everything that's happened.
Look back on what you've actually achieved in like just a year. It's mad.
It is mad, but I mean it kind of started this time last year. I had launched my Facebook page and my Instagram page because I knew that I wanted to launch the first edition of the online magazine in March, and my experience had taught me that you always create a buzz before you launch a new product. So I kind of went on to those platforms with an idea of how I wanted it to be and the vision and all that kind of stuff, but I just wasn't sure if people were going to respond to it. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of a bit of a leap of faith, and we were talking about this before we came on here, but I remember celebrating my first 100 likes on Facebook and thinking, wow, this is so cool. And at that point didn't have a product to show them, but I had a really strong idea of where I wanted to take things, and folks just really seemed to warm to that and embrace it, which I'll totally be forever thankful for, if I'm honest. And then it went from there. What I was doing behind the scenes was interviewing local businesses and sourcing the content and the stories, building the website myself, and getting it to a stage where I launched the first edition at the end of March. And then I launched another 2 editions after that. But then maybe and me decided that because the product hadn't really existed in Fife before I tried it, I felt really pigeonholed by that traditional editions of a magazine. Because I always truly felt that the Queendom wasn't going to be traditional. It was going to be something innovative and something different. So I realised after that point that I really just wanted to roll in content. I wanted to do something that was a little bit more responsive to what the audience wanted, rather than trying to pigeon myself into this traditional box that didn't feel quite right for my product.
Being tied down to not being able to make the content when you wanted to make it.
And I think a lot of the time what happens with publications, whether it be newspapers or physical magazines, is that by the time they publish, in a lot of ways the news is a wee bit past. Whereas we have these wonderful platforms online and through social media, and there's such an immediacy about that, and there's such a fantastic way of being able to tell people right away. And I'm a bit of a gobby devil, and I can't hide my water, so I like to, if I've got something to tell people, I like to be able to tell them right away, and I can't sit on things. I get too excited. I've always been that way, and I think that's the good thing about being a journalist in a lot of ways, that you get the privilege of telling the stories that you want people to hear. It's good to have that excitement. It obviously means you're passionate about it and you want to get the stuff out there. I know, and I think that for me, the reason that I became a journalist at the start was because I love talking to people. I love hearing people's stories. You'll find that if you're asking the right questions at the right time, that they open up to you, and it's such a privilege and an honour to be in that position of trust. And you have a real duty of care over people's lives and people's stories, and it's just the best job in the world to be able to communicate that for them, and to be able to pass that on to others. Sometimes, what you write and what you communicate touches people in a way that helps them make a change that they need to make in their lives, or points them towards something that they need in terms of support or help, and that's the true magic of it all. So when did the idea for the Queendom first kind of come into your head? Has it been a long
a long time thing?
It's been there for a while, actually, yeah. I mean, not that too long. I mean, I took a career break from the council. I worked as a communications officer there for 10 years. And after I was diagnosed with MS, I knew that I wanted to think differently about my life. So at that point, took a career break just to be around a bit more for my son.
Yeah.
And to be present and enjoy that time that we had together before he goes to school. And I very quickly found that I missed writing and I missed blogging, so I did it in my spare time. And, you know, I blogged quite regularly. And then I was kind of looking around, and at that point the rise of the mummy blogger was quite prevalent. There was a lot of other people around there just blogging. And I really kind of wanted to create a space where it would be slightly different, that we could talk about all the different facets of being a woman, and all the different things that we do, and all the different things that we should celebrate about our lives. And it just didn't feel like it was doing it justice from one blog. So I kind of thought to myself, well, I just need to build like a magazine where we talk about all these different aspects of our lives alongside my blogs. I wanted that space to be positive and uplifting, and really just reflective of the women that I am privileged to have in my life, you know, strong and talented and inspirational, and really that sense of bringing people together in a community as well. So I don't know how I came up with the name for the Queendom. It just kind of popped into my head one day, and I thought, oh, that's quite cute because it's a play on the kingdom.
Yeah, I love the name. That's brilliant.
And it kind of went from there. I did all the sort of the initial stuff myself, and I always had a really strong vision and a really kind of clear set of values about where I wanted to go, and just happened from there. I was very lucky after I started it that people seemed to respond well to it, and right from the get-go folk really wanted to be a part of it, which helped tremendously.
Yeah.
So I'm forever grateful for the support from people like yourself, from the other businesswomen in Fife who really kind of got what I was trying to do and joined the gang.
Yeah, I think people are looking for that kind of community and the support, and because when you're at home doing your business alone, it can be lonely.
Yeah, it is, definitely. And that's one of the things I really miss about working in a team, is being able to, you know, creatively bounce ideas off each other, have a laugh, and, you know, just chew the fat and talk about your lives. And I think what women do really well for each other is something that we've managed to capture through the community of the Queendom, is that they're more than happy to help each other out, and if we see each other are struggling or we have a problem in our life, we share it, and it eases that burden, but it also opens the door to helping each other out. And I love that that's the way that the Queendom's evolving. That's the bit about it that makes me most happy, is that sense of community and the sense of collaboration. And because for me, the media has always, well, you know what, it's an easy story for the media to tell, to pit women against each other as rivals, and I just really know that that's not the case, and you know that's not the case as well, because when women get together especially, you know, and I mean, amazing things can happen. So it was about harnessing that a wee bit as well, which was great. Yeah,
I think they always want us to all be fighting and competing, and
they do that a lot, don't they? Like, oh, so-and-so and so-and-so turned up at the premiere with the same dress on, who wore it better, and all that kind of stuff, and it just is nonsense, you know. There's so much more to us all than what we wear or how much we weigh, or, you know, all of that kind of nonsense. And it's just about kind of opening folks' eyes to the wealth of positivity and amazing stuff that's going on out there, you know.
You would never get that with two men, would you? Oh, who wore the suit better?
Two men had a black suit on. Who wore it better? The guy with the bow tie? Nobody cares. There was a really good clip that I actually saw, somebody had shared on social media the other day, and it was a collection of clips of actresses, and there was, like, I think it was Rihanna was in it as well, Lady Gaga and Scarlett Johansson and Cara Knightley and stuff, and they were talking about how interviewers interview women, especially famous women, and they're saying things like, so how do you juggle life around your children and your home life? And she was like, well, you're asking my male colleagues the same question. And things like, I think it was Taylor Swift at an awards ceremony, and they were saying, so you're out tonight looking for a guy? And she was like, no, I'm out with my girlfriends tonight, and I'm okay with that, you know. So what does it have to be about that, you know?
It's so horrible sometimes, eh? It makes you feel a bit icky.
I know it does. And there's that whole gender bias that's just unbelievable. And I think it's happened for years to women, and to the extent where if you speak to some women about their business, they'll describe it as my wee business, or they talk it down and they don't have that confidence to fly. And a lot of what we do in the Queendom is to give them that kind of strength and that kind of self-belief that they can stand beside anyone, male or female, and what they do is worthy and what they do is amazing. And if I get to be that cheerleader for people, then I am more than happy to take that on, because that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, because you do see people like on the group maybe asking advice, and then you see that they've changed things because of that. Like they might be nervous to do lives, or their prices are too low, and they get advice. And
it is. It's
nice.
that kind of strength of knowing that you've got your kind of tribe behind you, and just having that sense of support there. That maybe working on your own doesn't afford all the time, that you kind of do have that self-doubt, that you think that I'm not sure about where I'm going with this, I'm not sure if this is the right direction. And I think, you know, what we all need to listen to our intuition more, we all need to listen to our gut more, and we all need to kind of work on our confidence and our love for ourselves, actually, which is something that I'm going to tackle next month. If only to feather my own nest, I have to say.
So when you started obviously the magazine and the like online groups, did you ever like have the plan for all the extra things that you're doing? So you've got like the markets, the online stuff, the events, like did you ever expect it to turn into all this like so quickly as well?
I didn't, but I think what happens with being online and on social media, and you'll know this, you kind of miss that human connection. So very early on I knew that we had to get people off their phones and their laptops and together, and to connect in real life as well. So it happened very organically, I have to say, but I like to shake things up. I like to feel like we need to do something different. I like to come up with new and interesting ways of doing things, and because I've got that really strong supportive community behind me, I feel like I can do that, and I don't feel that fear of failure, which is great. Yeah,
because people get behind you, and but that must be quite a juggle to run all that. And you've got the Queens of Business, you've got the Queendom, you've got the membership now, business membership. You had your networking event, the awards. Where do you get the energy for all that?
Do you know what? I always feel that when you're on the right path, when you know where you want to go, and you've got a desire and a passion, and you believe in what you're doing, you get energy. It's so strange. Like when you feel like you're just it brings its own energy. I feel, you know, I'm not going to lie, it's a lot of work. It's hard work, and to say otherwise would be a lie. But I've got better at planning, I've got better at time management. Obviously I've got to fit my working life around my son, which is something that I'm passionate about. But I kind of want to be someone who practices what they preach. So I want to show other women that it is possible to live the life that you want to live, and to achieve what you want to achieve, and to dream big. Dreaming big means that you've got to be planning every week. You've got to coordinate your diary, got to make sure that you're not overdoing it, and that's the bit that I have to say tends to fall down for me. I don't make enough time for downtime. When you do have a lot of ideas buzzing about in your brain, it is difficult to switch off sometimes. Do you get that? Aye, so that's
when you're so excited about things though, it is hard just to stop.
I know, and I always feel like I want to make this happen now. How can we make this happen right away? Or you know, I feel like a deep sense of injustice about something. I want to change it right now. We shouldn't hang about. Let's get something done about this. You know, I'm kind of a doer in that respect. But life is about balance, and that's the lesson that I have to continue to remind myself of, because I think, I mean, it's a common thing, isn't it, amongst women in business, that because you're always striving to achieve and striving the next thing and whatever else, you've got a family, or you've got, you know, a home, or you've got pets, or you've got, you know, other family members to look after. We're often last on our own lists a lot. Which is why I want to talk a little bit more about that next month. For me, it is about, we need to start making time for ourselves. I saw a really interesting post on social media the other week there, where someone said you wouldn't let your phone battery run down to nothing. So why do we do that to ourselves?
I know, because you do get those weeks, or months even sometimes where you're just like, you've got nothing, you're just so done in.
Running on empty. And you just have to we all have to remind each other to take time for ourselves, and even if it is just once a week. And I'm a big believer in that money shouldn't be a barrier to people, so a lot of what I do is to try and offer options to people who maybe don't have the budgets to go out and enjoy a spa day or an afternoon tea or something like that. It's about talking in practical terms about what you can do for free to help yourself, so that we can appeal to, you know, people who might not be as fortunate as ourselves.
Even just like getting out of the house sometimes, and getting for a walk and clearing your head.
Switching off, and just taking some time that is, you know, indulgently for yourself, whether that be, you know, sitting watching something nice on the telly or just having a cup of tea in peace. I think for especially a lot of mums,
just getting even 5 minutes
5 minutes in the loo in peace, actually, to be honest, Abby, some days. But it's all part of the rich fabric of life, but I think we all just need to get better about that, and that's my kind of my next mission.
That's next on the list.
But it is just to remind myself more than anything else, I think, really, because to pretend that we're perfect would be wrong. We're all works in progress, and if we can all work through that together, then chances are we've got a better chance of making it stick.
Hold each other accountable.
Absolutely, I'm a big fan of
that. So obviously it's just been about a year that you've been going. So I was doing a wee bit of research at all the things you've done this year. So I want to just mention a few. And you can kind of tell me the story. Okay, so the awards. Fife Women Rock, you and Annie Crow built this amazing award ceremony. So where did the idea for that come from? Was that just...
it kind of came, I think it was an idea in the kitchen, that we thought that might be quite a nice idea, and I remember saying at that time, you know what, if we get a couple of 100 nominations, I'll be really happy. I was fearful that we didn't have enough time to do it because it was only like 4 months.
It was a quick turnaround.
Everybody that we told about it initially was like, I don't know if you can pull this off in 4 months. So I think it just kind of made us a bit more determined and a bit more, we kind of dug our heels in a wee bit and were determined to make it a success. And really for me it was about giving the unsung people a bit of a shout out, because I love the amount of different award ceremonies that are out there, and a lot of them are very corporate and they come at a price. You've got to pay to enter, or you know, you've got to pay a lot of money to get a ticket to go along. And you know what, they have their place, and you know what, they are very well subscribed and they do fantastically well, and they're an amazing mechanism for the promotion of business. But my take on everything always is, well, what are we doing for the smaller businesses? What are we doing for the women in business who can't afford that kind of level? And again, I don't think money should be a barrier to people. So it was about getting folk to get involved and to nominate those unsung business heroes that maybe wouldn't have ever had a shout out or a pat on the back. And added to that, I have a strong ethos, as you know, of love and kindness, and there are a lot of people in a lot of communities in Fife going the extra mile on top of a lot of other things to help other people who are not as fortunate as them, or you know, through charitable work or through local organisations. And I felt it was an opportunity to recognise them, to see that we see what you're doing, we really appreciate it, and we want to give you a bit of a pat on the back and, you know, a bit of round of applause. And people really got behind it, didn't they? You had so many votes. We opened the voting process and we had a month, and in that month we got almost 1,500 votes, which blew me away, actually. Only because I had to sit and log them all in an Excel spreadsheet, so I kind of almost got carpal tunnel, but it was worth it. It was amazing. It kind of felt like we captured something that really needed to happen at that moment in time. For me, the highlight was being there on awards night. I had the best seat in the house almost, because I was right at the front with Annie. We were looking at the audience and the wealth of support and camaraderie and love and kindness in that room that night was just absolutely magical, and it's something that will stay with me till, you know, probably till my dying day. It was one of the highlights of my life, and it was something completely unexpected, but we got everyone together in a room and just something amazing happened.
Yeah. So is that going to be like a yearly thing, or is it?
Well, it was quite time intensive, so
Yeah.
we're having a think about what that might look like moving forward.
Yeah.
So watch this space.
Yeah, see what happens. Well, kind of on the same subject, you were mentioned in the Scottish Parliament.
I know. Was it a slow news day in the Scottish Parliament that day? I don't know.
That's
No.
amazing.
I can't believe it, actually. My friends and fellow podcaster Lisa May Young sent me a message and said, have you seen this? And I went, what's this? And clicked on, and for once in my life was gobsmacked, which people who know me will testify doesn't happen very often. And yeah, it blew my mind. I have to say thank you to David Torrance, MSP, for taking the time to do that.
Yeah.
It was truly amazing, and yeah, it's. I don't actually quite know what to say about it. Because,
That's a mad thing. Yeah,
it's mad. It's totally mad. But I'm so very, very grateful for it.
That's
I'm
amazing.
so thankful.
Also, one of the top 40 Fifers of the year.
Yeah, I'm going to send that £20 to Alan Crowe that I owe him for sneaking me into there. Yeah, I do know what, a lot of folk had, in advance of the paper coming out, a lot of folk had shared the front page of the Fife Free Press, and I saw some amazing people on that front page, and I actually went and messaged Alan and went, you know what, good on you, because I think that's a brilliant idea, not knowing that I was in the list.
Yeah.
And I actually bought the paper that week to see if another thing I'd been getting up to was featured, and couldn't believe it.
There you are.
I know, and I tell you, it's not often my gas is put at a peep, but I was put funnily at a peep there. And what a true honour to be, listed amongst so many amazing other people who I feel have achieved amazing things in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And here's me and Annie, just kind of rocking up and. You don't do it for things like that, but things like that.
It's nice to get that wee bit of recognition that what you're doing is good and people are behind it. And
I know, it's nice to know that it's not just my mum and dad that are noticing what's going on, So yeah, it's good. I try and keep my feet on the ground, but yeah, I do get a lot of slagging offs from my family, which I think helps. So keeping it real.
And also you had the Beauty Banks charity thing that you were running.
Aye.
How did that all come about?
That came off the back of the awards, actually, for me. I went up to speak to Fife Women's Aid, and we handed over £800 that we'd raised on the night.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember being in a room with one of the ladies at Fife Women's Aid, and I looked round and there was a small basket full of mini toiletries and affirmations, really nicely presented. And I said to her, is there any way that I can give you a donation and take a few of those away? I think they're amazing. And she went, no, that's for the women who come here and seek refuge from us, because often they're not in a great place.
Yeah.
They've had to flee a dangerous domestic situation, and we just like to give them a little something to know that we see them and they're cared for.
Yeah.
And it really struck me that there are people in our community on our doorstep facing terrible, terrible hardship.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me think about what I could do, and I didn't want to kind of be boxed in. So I kind of thought, what can I do to make it easy for people to take part, but for us to make small things make a big difference? And a friend, Lauren Macaulay, who runs, who's helps run Macaulay's Fruit and Veg Merchants in Burnt Island, and she also has an amazing t-shirt company called Jewel in Her Crown. Check it out; they are amazeballs.
Yeah.
And they produce some really, really cool stuff. Told me about a national charity called Beauty Banks. So I got in touch with them, me being me, and just said, I really like what you're doing. Can you tell me how you do it, please? Because I would like to do it in Fife. And they came back to me and said, well, do you know what? We've got a beauty banker, kind of like a coordinator in Dundee, but we don't have one in Fife yet. How do you fancy doing it? And I went, aye. How did we get started? I know. So I went out to my business community and on Queens of Business and said, right, ladies, this is what we're going to do. We're going to do it for a month, and I need 5 volunteer businesses. And they blew me away, because I ended up with 30, not just 5, 30, and it included people from, the kind of high-end corporate world. We had Kingsgate Shopping Centre, we had Pay Wizard staff, we had local hairdressers, we ran the gambit actually of different businesses, small and bigger. And even on Fife came and said that their venues would be donation points.
Yeah.
I spoke to Alan at the Fife Free Press. He thought that was a good idea as well. So we got it in and we got rolling, and my goodness, it was just such an amazing success. I mean, in Dunfermline area alone, we collected around about 260 kilograms of toiletries.
Oh my god.
I know, and it was about 110 kilograms in the Glenrothes area, and unfortunately Kirkcaldy Food Bank don't weigh their donations.
Right.
But I mean, take it from me, I was delivering at least 20 full bags a week of toiletries during the course of that campaign.
That's amazing.
As were other volunteers who helped me out in the Kirkcaldy area, friends without whom I wouldn't have been able to do it, because in that final week I was adamant that I wanted to get things to the food banks in time for Christmas so folk wouldn't miss out.
Yeah.
I went to the food bank 3 times that week with a full cart every single time. And it really captured folks' hearts, and it actually just was an amazing way of demonstrating how a bottle of shampoo or a bottle of shower gel or a toothbrush can help change folks' lives. And the food banks were telling me anecdotally that they'd never seen anything like it before, and my answer to that was because nothing like the Queendom's community has ever existed before. So that is probably the biggest achievement for me of the last year.
Yeah, and it really shows just how much like people are ready to get behind causes and help each other out, and it's amazing what you've created.
It's great, and it would be easy to sit back and say it's all me, but I think that's a lie, Abby, to be honest. I think the strength of it all is that the strength of the community, the power of that community that sits behind it. I wouldn't be able to do what I do without that power, without that strength, without that sense of collaboration and camaraderie of people coming together to make a difference.
Yeah.
I'm just the person who gets to tell the story. And for me, the story of the Queendom is all about the individual people and organisations that are part of it. And that for me is just the true blessing of it all. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a pretty good 2019. I think you really done a lot.
I felt like
the community did a lot.
I felt like I put in a shift, but it was nice to be able to harness that power of social media for good. Yeah. Because you hear a lot of negative stuff around. You hear a lot of negative stuff about what happens on social media and whatever else, and I've made it one of my missions to show that if we can harness it in the correct way as a call to action to people to help others look at what we can achieve. Yeah, totally. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that amazing? Yeah. So do you have any plans for what 2020 is going to hold for the Queendom, or is it see how it goes? Yeah, I've got a lot of ideas. I'm going to do a month-long promotion in February. I'm talking about self-care and loving ourselves and making that time for ourselves, and using that also as a promotional tool to showcase some of the amazing businesses that are part of the community. I've got plans for something else that I'm not quite ready to talk about yet because I haven't really done my homework in the background, but it's just an idea that's germinating away that'll take us all into the next stage of how we can make a difference to ourselves, how we can be kind to ourselves and be kind to others. So watch this space.
Well, that's so exciting. I'm so excited to see what you've got next. I'll be waiting to see what you have planned.
I have about 1 million ideas a day, and for me it's kind of focusing on the ones that I feel like can make a real difference. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll pick the right ones.
Yeah, that's always the thing, you've got so many ideas, you just hope it's the right one.
I know, it's crazy, but I feel like I live a very blessed life, and I'm absolutely delighted that I love the kind of breathe the job that I love. So long may that continue.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that was all my questions. So awesome. If you want to give a wee shout out, we'll do check them out. So if you have any small businesses you want to shout out, I feel like you'll have loads.
I've got so many, and I just do you know what? I feel like I'm going to miss somebody out. I feel like we need to give a big shout out to Lisa Ferguson, who runs LG Events.
Yeah, I love Lisa.
Do you know what? Lisa's the kind of person who shows up, and she shows up for others, and she's showed up for me and shown her support for me in so many different ways throughout my journey of the last year. And it would be remiss of me not to give her a massive shout out, because I think she's flipping awesome.
She's just the most positive, bubbly person ever.
She is just amazing.
You can't be in a bad mood when she's around.
I know. And she lifts everyone else up, and it's about time that she let everybody else lift her up too.
Totally.
So there's her, and there's Pamela, who runs a little white gym in Dalgety Bay, who sold out our first block of weight loss classes in a month.
Amazing.
Just because she knows our market and she's done the work and she's done the graft, and I'm really, really proud of her for that.
Yeah.
To Cara Brown, who runs the Secret Garden Rooms in Kirkcaldy, another a wonderful lady who always has this can-do attitude of, well, what can I do to help you? How can I get involved? That kind of real community spirit, and she's got such an amazing, tranquil space there that I just love. And she's doing something, she's bringing a real kind of high-end, first-class corporate spa experience to Kirkcaldy in a different way, which I think is really exciting.
Yeah.
And to all my queens of business, I feel like they're all truly amazing. To Donna, who's running a group called The Girl on the Inside to try and promote confidence and empowerment. To Wendy Snedden, who did her first TEDx talk about the correlation between animal abuse and physical violence in the home, which is actually, it's life changing. I think I would encourage everybody to seek that out and to watch it. I'm going to forget about 1 million people. Lindsay Ramsey, Louise Anderson, Candice Wilson, Elvina Menzies. Oh God, I'm gonna just wake up in the middle of the night and think,
you wake up in a cold sweat.
I know, but I just love them all. I love everybody. It's just such an amazing community, and I'm sorry if I've missed you out. You've all got a special place in my heart. You know that. Yeah. And I'm truly blessed to be part of it all.
Yeah, big shout out to the whole Queendom. Everyone gets a shout out.
Totally, every single one of them. They all play a part in this.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. I'll tag all those people if I can fit them all in the one post.
Longest post ever.
I'll tag all them in it so everyone can check them out.
Fantastic.
And the last thing is for you to plug yourself. So where can we find you online?
Well,
what are you up to?
I make it easy for people. Yeah, I make it easy for people. So my social handles are at Queendom of Fife. My online magazine is hosted at queendomoffife.com. You can email me at queendomoffife@gmail.com.
Nice and easy.
Yeah, totally. I like to make it simple. You know that works best.
Yeah.
Look out for the Love Month in February. It's not dodgy underwear and chocolates, ladies. It's going to be something amazing. So look out for that. And yes, stay tuned. There is a new club coming that I want you all to join, and I will reveal details soon.
Exciting. So yeah, join the Queendom if you're not already in there.
Exactly. Why aren't you? Like, why would you not be? Like, there's just so many amazing people already. Yeah. It would be nice to be joined by more. Amazing.
Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Thank you for telling me the story of the Queendom so far.
Tales from the Queendom, Volume 1.
No, it was so amazing. Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
No, and thank you for listening, and I'll speak to you next week. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Mind Your Business. Head over and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Mind Your Business Podcast to see everything that we've been chatting about in this episode. If you're enjoying the podcast, please be sure to subscribe and drop us a review wherever you listen to help us spread the word. If you fancy getting access to some exclusive interviews, polls, forums and more, or if you're a small business looking to advertise, head over to our Patreon now. See you next week.